should be back on. Okay, good. Okay, stream is back. Okay, so let's continue. Yes, so in this case, let's adjust the names of the header lines. So I have, okay, in this case, I just only need to change capital city to capital, and all the other elements are fine. Okay, good. So in this case, I assume that I know the names of the columns. Yeah, maybe I don't really care about the sequence of the columns, but I know the names of the columns. So in this case, let's say I have the header line. So first I process that the header line. In this case, again, that would be the header line, and here I get the first element of the rows. Yeah. Oh, yeah, first, and then I can split it directly. Split at semicolon. All right. So okay, at this point I know the names of the columns. So yeah, so in this case, I have so I have several options. So maybe let's use map structure, for example. Let me import system. Without that here. System collections generic. Okay. So I mean, that's just to make it easier for us. And then we have the map structures. So moment, let's okay, we have moment. So let's maybe use okay, let's dictionary maybe. Let's maybe use this dictionary here. Oh, moment. Let's use dictionary simply here. Okay, so dictionary, and then we have, let's say, the name. Yeah, so basically I want to store the mapping between the column name and the position, sequential position where this column is located in the file. Yes, in this case the dictionary would have a string, and so the string would be the key and the integer would be the column name it is assigned to. I could do vice versa, but in this case I think it's better to store it this way, and that will be column map, let's say, and I create a new dictionary here. All right, so in this case I can, let's say I know how elements there are. So then I go to the rows O. So I'm sure there are, at least at this point I know that, let's say there are 5 columns I use. Yeah, ID, name, capital city, currency, and GDP. So let's say I have 5 columns I use. So there's this one that would be O. So the next one would be, let's say 1. So the next one would be 3, and so on, or 2, and so on. So let's say I have 2 more. Okay. Oh no, yeah. Okay, that's correct. Two more. Okay, so at this point I have the mapping. So in this case, I don't depend on this particular scenario. I can do the following thing. I can say I get the country, get the name, and what I simply need to write here. I can simply write the current row, of course, and then I need to calculate the index. Yeah, because at this point, let's assume we don't know the sequence of the columns. Yeah, so this is why we implement this case. So let's assume I don't know which column is located at which position. So I need to have the header line here. I need to read the header line. I need to split. I need to find the sequence here. So basically here I find positions. Yeah, positions of the columns here. All right, so I found the positions. So here I have the mapping. Again, mapping would be between the name and the position. So that's why I can simply use this mapping. So that will be the column map, and I column map, and moment, so use file. No, moment, what was? Yeah, use so many different collections. They have different. No. It's let me quickly check. Oh, hold on. Or maybe I need to use. Okay, maybe let me quickly check. Resolve time. Moment. Oh yeah, this is what I thought. Yeah, we can use indexers here. Yeah, forgot about this. Yeah, of course we can use indexers. So for the indexers, it is quite easy. Then, and this would be then the name. Oh, sorry, not the name, this one. Okay, I get the name. And then assign the, so here I basically get, so column name, column map will return the index position of the column we're looking for. So then I can simply repeat the same approach for the other fields. So again, in 32, parse. Then again, I use column map, and then I provide the key. Key would be the ID. Right. And of course, from the current row, I take it. All right. So then I use capital, and I use current row. Yeah, I mean the same approach as here. Capital. Right, same as with the currency. And the last one is with GDP. And I need to parse it from double as well. Oh, sorry, double parse, of course. Double what? Yeah, basically, if I use this double or if I use double as the uppercase, there is no technical difference, but it's best practice is to use the real class, name of the class, just because of the class approach we use. So simply when we call the classes, it's better that we use the names of the classes, not the shortened name of the attributes, because double, integer, int or bool, they are all the shortened names of the real classes. And that's why it's better to use real class names here. So then again, I use parse, right? And then I parse GDP. Yes, so let's check if this works. Yeah, by the way, let's maybe make some small differences here. I will make it of spaces just to not confuse you. Okay, I have the exception. I have exception why I have the exception. I think I have I have 6 columns here. Why there's oh no, sorry. Okay, my mistake. Not the rows, but the header line, of course. Of course. My mistake here. Of course, we take the values from header line, not from the rows. All right. Yeah, of course, you can handle all these exceptions as well. Let that be also a good practice. And so we see that, but so that this works the same way. Yeah, so the capital C is correct, currency, and GDP also is correct. Yeah, so this is, I would say, more dynamic way, but also more safe, because you can switch the columns, you can switch the sequence of the columns, and this will not affect your program. On practice, usually it's not really used because on practice you see that we always have the defined structure of the CSV files, so we already know all the columns we have, where each column should be located, and what to expect from it. So this is not really needed, but just in case you need, so you can use the mapping. All right, do you have any questions? Yeah. Yeah, so, the idea, the idea is that these files are stored in the system using the separator. So basically, what you see in Excel, this is only how the Excel converts it. Yeah, because Excel is just a program software which reads the files for you. Yeah, I mean, how does it display? It depends on Excel file. There can be some settings there. So Excel only reads this file, so it already splits it in the columns, so you can easily read the content here and split it. But regarding the separator, you need to go to the control panel, I think. So I guess I already remember the path, because I did it several times. I think I think it just takes time, if I'm not mistaken. No, not take time. Moment. There's some country-specific settings. I think it was not system. A moment. Region. Yeah, of course. So yeah, again, control panel. You go to the control panel. You go to the region-specific settings. And so where do I have it? Additional settings. Yeah. And here we have this decimal separator and also the list separator. So basically, the Excel file, not the Excel file, but I think all the CSV formatters. Excel is one of the CSV formatters. When you save the file, it will save you using the separator defined here under Again, control panel, region, additional settings with separator. So here you have the separator for the decimal, yeah, because yeah, and here you have the separator for the width. So it can be defined here, and based on what is defined here, Excel will save it technically, I mean, as the text file, because again, as I said, all of the CSV files are the text files, so they are stored as the text, and so this is how they are separated using them, how the columns are separated using the width separator. And also the new line separator, it is also the separator stored technically. So yeah, but I mean, when we talk about Excel, it's just the way how you read the files and edit them. They are stored, of course, not in the way as we see them here. Yeah, so Excel is only about the displaying and editing. And yeah, so here you have this list separator defined on your computer. The thing is, yeah, also that's simple. The thing is that you see that it comes from the region setup. And yeah, this is the usual thing for the related to the regions, because I guess you already know that in many different countries we use different decimal symbols, for example. Yes, some countries used only dots, some countries only used commas. Yeah, I think maybe some also use kind of apostrophes for simple, or spaces. Yeah, so it depends. Yeah, so for negative sign, okay, it looks like no one uses something else. Yeah, also the measurement system, and so, yeah, so this is, I would say, it's region-specific setting. Yeah, and there's where you define. Of course, there may be different CSV files. Some of them use tab as the separator, so it is also possible. Tab, space, and many different things. So need to be careful with the separator. Yeah, even of course, in practice, yeah, that's a good point. You need to be careful with the separator, because they may be different with the CSV files. And but usually, basically, when do we usually use CSV files? Also, for my recent experience, I have the software program which has the clients, customers stored in the system. Maybe there are different database tables with the different relations, and there is the program which reads them, so we can migrate the customers, and not only the customers, also some transactional data or some texts, some notes. We can migrate them using this migration program, which accepts CSV file with the specified format. Yeah, we have this format specified, so I can simply enter the CSV file there, and it will create the customers in the system based on this file. Yeah, and the format is predefined, all the data are predefined there, and so simply we need to care about that the format is correct, all the separators are correct, all the widths are, all the separators are correct, all the data is stored correctly. Yeah, but I mean, technically, how you edit it, Excel, OpenOffice, LibreOffice, or whatever it is, you can also edit it online. So you can find lots of different online tools where you can read the file and CSV file, split it, and save it as you need. Yeah, so here you need to be careful. All right, so do you have any other questions about the CSV files? Okay, if there are no questions, then we can move to the next file format, and let it be. Let's maybe start. Let's start with JSON, because I think JSON files are easier to work with. So one moment. Okay. Here we are. I need to quickly need to quickly check. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Maybe I will maybe create a new profile. Or one moment. Let me think again. I don't want to comment on this code. No, maybe I will. Okay, I will do maybe different way. I will call this method as main2, so it will not be executed then. Yeah, so just small trick. I'll call the comment. Called this method as yeah. Yeah, so I defined it as main2 just to skip executing it. So just, I mean, in case you want to execute this method, you simply can exchange. So that's like a dummy way to skip executing. But yeah, so let's say that we want to read JSON file. So for the JSON file, it's so yeah, again, we can read it as text. There's also the option you can read it directly from the file using some kind of open streams or similar. Maybe I prefer easier way. Let's read it using JSON. So in this case, that would be that I use again file read.text as always, and here I again copy paste the file. So again, I'll use the same path as I used before, and so let's use the JSON here. Okay, so let's just double check that we see that the file is read. And what's wrong with program? Okay, so we see that file is read correctly. Okay, so this is the first point. Second point is that we want to deserialize this object, right? Okay. So yeah, this may be a little bit complicated in this case. But yes, in this case we may need some. One moment. So yeah, let me quickly check for the collection. And, one moment. Oh no, okay, we can do it. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify. Yeah. So we can do it, I think. So let's create the list of the countries. So again, I will use country list. So new list. One moment. I guess I can use this one. So we don't need to create new list object. So and then the thing is that what will I do is I will use JSON convert, and I think it comes from the system text. No, it is not. One moment, JSON convert. So just, yeah, let me double check from where it comes. Okay, I think. Space. Okay, I think I need to. One moment. I think, one moment. System text JSON. Okay, I have JSON here, and I don't have JSON convert. Okay, that's fine. No, it's fine. I can use JSON the serializer. And yeah, I can use JSON serializer. Okay, yeah, so just sort of use for the package. Sorry. Okay, now it should be better. Let's proceed. Then I use the serialize, and here I then can use with country if I'm not mistaken, and then I can use JSON. And then I get the country list. Let's see if this works. Okay. See if this works. Yeah, I will not print it. Let's try. And country list. And some. So let me write this down. I think it won't be successful at this point, but let's see. Okay, we get the exception here. Okay, yeah, can run be converted to generic list. Because I think, yeah, maybe this is because of the delete, so maybe let me remove it from the file. Let me adjust it a little bit. So I assume this, oh no, I don't have delete. Okay, so we have 5 elements. Oh, maybe this is because of this ID. Okay, let me remove this. Remove this first. Yeah, okay. Okay, let me remove this. And yeah, instead of capital city, let's use capital. And I guess, yeah, also instead of countries, yeah, we don't need the countries. I guess that was the point here. Okay, let's maybe don't use the countries. Okay, let's check. Let's check once again then. Maybe this can be better. Maybe not. Let's see. Okay, same issue. Okay, it cannot convert ID. Okay, so this is also what I thought about. Let's then change the ID to integer. Okay, so let's change ID to integer and GDP to double. Okay, let's try again. At least it now tries to convert, which is already better. Okay, now it works. Now it works as expected. Yeah, so for JSON files, they are, I mean, in this case, you see that the program is, it is much more, it does create a much more easier way that for the CSV file, we don't need to parse anything. We just simply use the serializer, and it creates everything as we want. But the thing is that, the thing is that it requires the strict file format. So we cannot, we simply need to have a situation when like in this case, the file provided, it is the list, so it is the array. So it means that it is the list, the array we have, yeah. And just change it a little bit slightly here, and it should have the objects inside, and the object should be it should have all these elements, and also they should have all the correct formats. But on the other hand, if the element is correct, sorry, if the data is correct, it's quite easy to read the files. So the question next would be how to write the files. So let's say, for example, I want to, so just the easy example would be that I want to write the XML file into CSV file. Write XML file into, CSV file into JSON file. So in this case, instead of writing, let's define string be JSON, and here I can use again JSON serializer. And in this case, I will not deserialize, I will serialize the element, and I will serialize simply the country list. Yeah. And then let's say I will write our text into the file. So let me create the file here, provide the file path. So that will be lessons, and let's say my convert XML, CSV to JSON, and let it be JSON. And okay, this will be the path, and the content will be the JSON file. Okay. So let's run and see what will happen here. Okay, I changed it. Okay, done. It's running. Okay, so the program is executed. Let's see if we have any result here. Yeah, so see I have the result. Let's see how the file looks like. I will maybe use Notepad++ maybe. And yeah, so here is the point. Yeah, first of all, we see that we see that the Latin characters are not printed. So in this case, I guess I then need to slightly adjust the encoding. I think, yeah. So there is one overload. One moment, I think this overload is related to the encoding. So I think that I can then test it. Text encoding, and I can use UTF-8. So in this case, I think Latin characters will be printed. Yeah, also maybe quite frequent issue that the Latvian characters are not printed because of the encoding. Okay, so yeah, pressed any key. Okay, good. Okay, so then let's check again. So still, but maybe close all these files here. So I think I have a lot of them already. Okay, maybe let me, but then maybe print the file here first, just to see, if the JSON serialized correctly. Excuse me. So it's done. Okay, that's already here, so it's written in the file correctly. I guess I can also then specify the encoding here as well. Okay, input type I'm don't care about. Okay, yeah, we can check. Do we have the encoding here? Okay, a moment, and I need to quickly check it. Encoding. Yeah, because the encoding maybe it's the best one. One moment. One moment. Okay, yeah. So then we can use one thing. I can create the options. So that would be options. Be new JSON serializable options. So here I can provide one moment. Well, I can define it this way. I use the encoder, and the encoder would be system JavaScript. One moment. Maybe I will quickly check. Another thing. I guess I checked it before. A moment. One moment. Yeah, there are usually such problems with Latvian characters. Okay, one quick think. Yeah, so because I didn't realize it before. Okay. Let's think. So we'll try it in this way. What I can do, I can check the encoding. So I guess that was also the system text. One moment. Okay, give me 1 minute, I'll quickly check that because this, I usually work with the English characters, but for the Latvian, let me try system text encoding. Sorry, encoding. Yeah, in this particular case, I guess, yeah, that's the web encoding, so I need to use JavaScript encoder. And oh, yeah, hold on, okay, I think I got this. So then I need to go JSON serialize, well, yeah, serializer options. I need to create them, okay. So this would be the point, and then I need to set up the encoder for them, okay. So for the options, I need to set up the encoder, okay. So, and then from here, I can set up the encoder, and so in this particular case, okay, in this particular case, I can create the encoder, and so yeah, so here I can define Unicode range. Yes. No column. Create, and then I can system types Unicode ranges. Text Unicode. I guess I can pass UTF-8. I don't think that will be correct. Unicode ranges, and that would be, say, I'm not sure if I can pass UTF-8. Guess I need to pass basic Latin. Or no, it will not go. This what I guess we don't have Latin characters here, right? Okay, maybe I guess no. I guess I won't accept basic Latin characters. So I can select Japanese, Greek letters. So I can extend it maybe. I think so. And let me quickly check this. Yeah, I'm sorry for this, but so such small things usually trigger some trouble. So let me quickly check it to not make any issues then further. Okay, maybe let's try it in basic first. Or maybe let's try all. Maybe that would be better. Okay, at first maybe let's try all, but so just to not spend the time on the selecting. Okay, and then I think here we can pass these options. If I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Okay, yeah, okay, it replaced Regal with Regal, but yes, okay, but that should not be the real problem for us. Okay, let's see how did it prints in the file. So one moment. Okay, so here we have the files. Here it is created, right? Yeah, so here it was created. Let's see it here. Okay, so we see that now the character is correct. Yeah. So this is what's, yeah, this was just a little bit about the encoding. So yeah, this is the way we create the serializable. Yeah, so here we can add some options for the serializable, and yeah, one of the options would be that we use different encoder. Yeah, and this will encode the character into the right direction. So yeah, basically using the JSON we can convert the C# objects into the JavaScript objects. So we can use, in this case I use the list, and so basically I say that I expect the list to be there, the list of countries. The country is the object which should have all these elements. But yeah, on the other hand, the disadvantage for this option is that the format is strict, and it should be strict here. So we cannot use the program to check if everything is fine, and we can do this in the way as we want. Yeah, there is also the option. Maybe we will not look at this, but it is also possible. I think I can maybe quickly just roughly show you this from JSON documents, parse, and this will not sorry, this will return maybe JSON object, JSON array. One moment. Okay, let's maybe try JSON document. So we can try to parse it. So we can try to parse JSON, and this will create us the JSON document. Yes, so in theory we can parse the JSON to the JSON document. So let's check if this works. And I will go ahead and replace main 1 and main 2. Okay. Okay, so this does work. And what do I have under the JSON document is that I can, okay, let's say I get the root element. So this would be JSON element. So yeah, this is the getter, so I need to answer that will be JSON element root, and I print the root element. Okay, so can I print? Okay, let's see if I can print it. Yeah, I'll print all the elements here. So let's print it. Yeah, so okay. Now we get this JSON. So basically, in this case, I can serialize also manually. Yeah, so that's just for your information. I can serialize. So in this case, I can, let's say I have JSON element. Sorry, I have the root. So the root is the array. So let's say I can enumerate array. And yeah, so this gets a numerator. Yeah, JSON element array enumerator. So the JSON elements array enumerator. So, and this would be array. And then what I have, I can go for each element. And let's use them for each again. For each we are elements in array enumerator. And then let's say I have the element. And so in this case, I have the array, and this may go through each element. Okay, let me keep the file open. Show what did I close it? So in this case, I have the array, and I simply can go through all the elements as in the array. So this point means that each element will be the color of this object. So what I can do, I can get elements from the element, and in this case I can say I can get the, so let's say I want to get the IDs, so let's say them to get, no, hold on, this would be not correct. So one moment, I want to access the element to so one moment. Again, I have the element again. So okay, enumerate object. Yeah, this one. This one was good. No, hold on. No, okay, this one will be correct. Maybe okay. Let me maybe first print the elements we have here. Right, one element. So I will not print the root now. Just to not confuse you. So in this case, I just want to show you how we can process the elements manually. Yeah. So here I print each element. Yeah. I want just to show you that we can also process the JSON files manually. It's not mandatory that we serialize them. But okay, so here we got the element, and you see that this is the element we have. So, and then I think, yeah, we need to then get the object. Okay, this one. So I will use an enumerator object. And then I can maybe try, okay, maybe I will get it here. B, R, J. Okay. Enumerate object. And here then I think I can get, say, the element by ID. Can I print it? Let me check. Console. Right one, element by ID. Okay. Okay, so for indexer that is not really possible. Okay. Okay, but okay, hold on. Can I have gets? No, I guess this will be numerator. Yeah, okay, let me then try to do it again. Hold on, I already have. Hold on, let's maybe change it to enumerate object here, and then print the element. Okay, so we see what we have now. Enumerate element. Enumerator. So let's see what we have now. Yeah, there's no difference if you call the method to string when you print anything, or if you don't. Okay. Okay, yeah, so no. Okay, so that was correct. Yeah, then we cannot get not the enumerator array is correct. Okay, sorry for this one. So okay, we have the element. The element is the element of the array. So and then I can. The thing is, okay. So get property. I think this was the right one. I'm sorry, this was just a long time I worked with them. JSON. So let me try this one. Okay, get property, and I can then. I think that was get property. Yeah, and then string will be the property name. I try to get it as integer, and let's try to print it. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Oh, yeah, you see that I got the integers. Oh, not the integer, I got the IDs. So yeah, this is the point that I can access the elements separately. So, but in this case, you see that, again, what happens here? Here we go through the JSON file. I start, let's do it this way. I start at, check. Okay. Yeah, I start at the top, so I have the array. So that's why I have, you see that at first I have the root element as the array. Yeah, so you see, this is the array. That's why I use, yeah, so I get this root element. Yeah, so this is my root element, and then I use enumerate array because I have again the array, so I can enumerate the elements inside the array. So then it means that here I get the collection of these elements, yeah, these objects. So I get this collection and I can work with this collection. So then I receive each element. So this is one element and I can access any property of this element directly here. Yeah. So let's say even if I have maybe more deep structure, like maybe, let's have a short example here. Yeah, so maybe let's have a small example. That would be the last theory part for today. We have the practical task. So file JSON, maybe say test2. So in this case, let me read it. So maybe I will comment it out and I will open this. Okay. So yeah, in this case, let me maybe adjust it a little bit. So where is it? It's here. Let's see, it's not this pass. Okay. So yeah, let's say we have maybe more complicated structure, like so let's say we have the object under the object. So at this point, maybe let it be maybe some kind of, not sure. Okay, we have Germany, so maybe for Germany, we have federal states. Federal states. Yeah, so I can name the object this way. Federal states, and maybe let me mark some federal states of Germany. What are there? And let me just quickly check in Wikipedia. So on the federal ones, yeah, federal ones, or how they're called, federal. Let me maybe call them as states. I guess they're called ones or something like that. That's not really important here. Germany federal ones, yeah, I guess they're called ones. State, oh no, the states, okay, in English, yeah, okay, so let's maybe just take some of them. So in this case, we can define them as the array, and this will be the array of strings. So two, and I think also a moment. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, I can define. We have federal states, and let's see, we have Bavaria, Hamburg, and so on. Yeah, maybe I'll use. Okay, maybe let's take 3. Saxony, guess that would be enough. Okay, so in this case, let's try to get this element. The element is called federal states. So I'll first reprint it, and we can try to access each element separately. Now I guess we get the exception in this case, because we have one country which does not have this particular element. Yeah, so then we can simply try catch this exception. Needed. I can then use try here. I can use catch. Because for JSON it's absolutely fine that some elements do not exist. So I can catch this exception. Maybe if I want, I can simply tap continue here in this case. Yeah, so let's move to the next one. It calls debugger. Okay, so and in this case, okay, in this case it's fine. Okay, let's try again. And because key not found, that's absolutely fine. When I have such situations, let's run the program again. Once again, yeah. So you see that now this element is found, is printed. Yeah, so we have this array. So in case we have it, we can get it. And so then this would be JSON array, JSON element. JSON element. And we can say, yeah, we can use array enumerator already here. It will be then federal states, or maybe a simply state. And then I get, so that will be enumerate array. So I get the array of federal states. So and in this case, I can access all these states. So this would be, I can use again for each. Then yeah, that will be state and states. And let's say maybe I print each state I have there. Yeah, so again, here I show you how we can access each element separately, yeah, without, like if you, like without the serializable. Yeah, because serializable sometimes may be quite, so it's static, like we have just simple one exact structure, we cannot go through the elements as we want here. Yeah, so here I got the array of the elements, I can get each element, and I can access each element like this way. Okay, so and in a similar way we can also write the files. Maybe I will I'm not really sure this, but no, let's maybe quickly, the last thing that we can do on the theory side today is that I can maybe let me create the third program, so just the third main executor. So let's maybe try to build JSON file this way. So let's say I have JSON elements. So that would be the root, and I create new JSON. No, sorry, I'll create JSON document maybe, and I will do new JSON document. Right. No, hold on, I think I can't. Okay. Right. Let's take a look on the constructor. Does it want root here? Let me maybe define it before. Okay, moment, no. Moment. So, sort moment. Okay, let me quickly check this. Check this. Oh no, okay, this. Let me quickly then check JSON document here. Open this. Okay, and okay, it is internal. Okay. Oh, okay. So then I think there's no JSON document, but JSON document constructor. If we then take it this way, okay, no, I think. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe let's first build then the root and then we can check it. Wait. So basically here we have the root and we can maybe maybe for the building that may be a little bit more complicated, we'll maybe not cover it today. So just for the read, that would be enough then. Yeah, because for the manual creation, this may maybe take some more steps there. So yeah, maybe for this particular case only for the reading. Yeah, but for the reading, I guess that's pretty much good. We just simply need to know the structure of the JSON, and we can go through this structure. Okay, so my question is, do you have any questions about JSON files? So I mean, when you read it manually, not using the serializer, then you need to follow the structure. You need to go through the structure. You need to get the sub elements. Like you can enumerate array if the sub element is the array, or you can use enumerate object if the sub element is object, and then you can get and read them as you want. All right. So, yeah. Questions? You mean, yeah, so here we don't read, here I just want to show you that we want to access the state. So for example, let's say I have the task to read all the states I have in the file. So let's say I have the list string, that would be list all states, yeah, maybe simply all states from the file. So I need only to get the states, not anything else. Yeah. So in this case, I can simply use list all states from the file and add them to the collection, right? So I can simply add them to the collection. So that will be state, and I think I can convert it. Well, moment. Yeah, I need to convert it to string. I can easily do it. So in this particular case, we will have the let's maybe at the end print. Just the printing is just for us to show that all the elements are in place. Yes, so print is just for the testing purposes. I mean, in practice, let's can go through all the elements. State. Oh yeah, so the elements in states list of all states from the file, and here, let's say, so printing is just for us to see that everything is on place. I mean, in practice, the task may be that we put these values into the database, yeah, so we're printed on the web screen or somewhere else, yeah, so see that all the elements are now placed in the collection. Yeah, so that's why we may need to write this code if we don't have any specific, let's say, collection for this, any specific, not collection, but any specific object type for the JSON array. But let's say if we want to access only some specific elements from this JSON file, yeah. So see, we have specific elements like capital, or here the federal state. So this code is needed to access these specific elements, yeah, without knowing the structure of the whole document. Yeah, because in theory I may have some random, not random, but some additional unknown elements here which I don't really need for my case. Yeah, let's say in my case I only need to get the states, for example. Yeah, so then I can read all the countries and then I can access only the states. I don't need to access any other data. Yeah, this is why this code may be needed. If you only need to access some specific elements, and again I use write just simply to see that everything is, that we access the right element and we read the element correctly here. Yeah, so this is why we have them. And yeah, so just only for you to understand how to do it. Yeah, but again, yeah, we need to go deeper in the structure to get these elements. Okay, so do you have any other questions? But I mean, if you know the structure, if you want to write into the file, then you can easily use serializable. That will be enough for JSON files. Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions about JSON files, then I think then on Monday we can then talk about the XML files and also repeat the topic about the database. So we have some things to do there. But yeah, so now I want you to then start doing the practical tasks. But first of all, just to remind you, what did we have during the last session? Last session we talked about the delegates and the events you may need to you will need to use in your next practical task. So remember, what are the delegates? Delegates are just a simple way how we can store the methods as the variables. Yeah, so basically remember what we can do with the values, and with the variables we can, the key advantage for them is that we can move them from one place in our program into another place. Yeah, so we can calculate the value inside one method, we can pass it to another method, to pass it to another object, and then the object can exchange these data in between themselves. So simply the idea is that this value is moving from one place into another. Yeah, so this is the point what we have for the values and the variables, and using the delegates we can implement the same concept. Also for the functions, for the methods. Yeah, so this is why we may need to use delegates. Yeah, usually it is needed for the cases when we have basically event handling. Yeah, because for the event handling we need to use the functions. Yeah, because the events need to know which file needs to be executed. Sorry, not which file, which function needs to be executed. Yeah, so this is the point. And again, as I've shown you already, the JavaScript is the best example for this case, because JavaScript itself, it not only uses delegates, but JavaScript basically takes this concept as default without declaring specific delegates. Everything's just simply built in the way that all the functions are also the values. Like we can assign a function to any variable, because yeah, basically, so maybe shortly about JavaScript, yeah, you can simply, if you want to execute JavaScript, you can take any website, just any website you want. So and then it's just opening a website again, maybe saying apple.com. Why not? So just any website. I go to the inspect element or Control Shift I, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, so I can go to console, and here I can write JavaScript to work with this current window. Yeah, and again, as usual, I can access this, which is this window, and yeah, so under the JavaScript elements, I have under the JavaScript object, yeah, object is window, I have the elements. And the interesting thing is, again, I can assign the elements can be the values, and they can be also the functions. So we see here the element is the object, but here the element is the function. Yeah, so the functions and the objects are stored in a similar way. And the interesting thing is that JavaScript objects and also the variables, yeah, JavaScript objects and the variables, they do not have the definitions. So this is why JavaScript is quite different language comparing to C#, C++, Java, or similar, because Java is a scripting language, and the variables do not have the type. Yeah, so you see we have the window, we have the window as the object, we have the element as the element as the member of the object, but we see that it does not have the type. So basically I can, so here I have, let's say something like, yeah, so I have the member of just, let's take random member, the name, it is this, yeah, it is the empty string here. So we have, let's say, we have this, maybe just simply I can access it directly from here. So let's say access this name. So this would be, this is the empty string here. If I want, I can also assign, say maybe the integer, and now this name is integer. Yeah, it's not string anymore. Oh no, it is string. Well, it's string. Maybe okay. Maybe let's maybe do something more complicated. Let's assign the array maybe. Yeah, so now this name is now. Oh, hold on. Why is this? That's strange. Okay, that's interesting. Well, a moment. Let's maybe try it from here. Yeah, because the thing is. Oh no, a moment. Let's run again. Let's run again. Let's display this again. So name, where is the name? I just changed. Okay, no, so it's still displayed as string. Okay, that's strange. Yeah, but the thing is that JavaScript variables do not have the type, so I cannot declare like integer a equals something. It's not possible in JavaScript because JavaScript elements do not have the types. That's why I cannot have, again, it's also the string and assign the text. It's not possible. JavaScript variables do not have the types yet, so I need to use var on const, and then I can define any type I want here. So I can define string, I can define integer. So yeah, basically what you see in, say, var element, let's say varb. So yeah, in C# we can use var. In JavaScript we can only use var on constant or const. So there's maybe I'm not sure to explain the difference between VR and cons, but yeah, the thing is that JavaScript I can only declare the variables using VR. Yeah, so this was just a short note about JavaScript. In case you work with this in future, most likely, if you work with web programming, it's most likely that you face JavaScript. But yeah, so just for you to know that this is really different language comparing to C# or other backend languages, because JavaScript is mostly considered as the front-end language, so it means that we write the web programming on it. C# is mostly the backend programming language, so it means that it's mostly used for some kind of backend operations. And on programming, it is usually strictly separated, because front-end programming is what the users see and interact with, but the backend programming these are the programs which mostly work on the data in the backend, like direct access to the database, then some data processing, and after all the data is processed, we can send this data to the user. Yeah, so we'll maybe talk about that programming codes a bit later next week, but yeah, so the thing is that JavaScript is mostly for the web programming. So yeah, and there all the elements are delegates. In C# we can implement a similar way using the delegates. Alright, and delegates is just the patterns for the functions. It means that we, as it stands from the name, we delegate the functionality of one function to the, let's say, the variable. Yeah, we can consider it as the variable, which then can store this particular function. Then also we can use lambda expressions to make it shorter, to use the shorter way to define the functions, to assign the functions to the delegates. Yeah. So this also we discussed last time. Yeah, I shared the presentation, so you can take a look on these approaches. There's an anonymous method also, which is quite similar to the lambda approach, lambda expression approach. So we had some examples. We can also use the properties of the inheritance, the properties of the casting. Yes, so it means that, remember that if we have the type of the base class, then we can always assign the subclass to this base class variable. This will always work. Yeah? So this is the usual case, and vice versa we cannot do, because we cannot always assign base class to the variable stored under the base class to the variable typed as the subclass. Yeah. So, and then after the delegates, we talked about the event handlers. So the event handlers are these are the variables, also variables, which store the list of the delegates. And so basically, if delegate is one element, then the event is the list of, we can consider this as the list of the delegates assigned to it, and the idea is that we can basically raise the event, which will then trigger all the delegates assigned to it. Yeah, so this is the point. During the execution of the program, we assign several delegates, several handlers, we call them, to the event, and at some point the event may be raised, and it means that when the event is raised, all the functions, all the handlers assigned to this event, they will all be executed. So just the usual example, press the button, something should happen. And what should happen, it all depends on what are the handlers assigned to your particular button you created. So this this is the point here. So we can take the example we had here. So this is defined as event handler. This is the delegate. We define it as event handler. Sometimes so in this case, in this example, we have sender. So means that from where is the program triggered. Events, what they may also mean. But on your example, you can also create the event handler with your parameters you want to provide. So same as for the delegates. I mean, not the same. These are the delegates. You can provide the parameters for your particular event, for your particular methods. Yes. So here was the example. Yeah. So to add the elements to the list of the delegates under the event, you need to then use this syntax plus equals. This will add new elements to the. This will assign a new element, a new handler to the event. Yeah. So and at the end, once you assign all the events, you can raise the event. Where is this? Yeah, you can call the event, and you can then all these delegates will be executed. Yeah. So here is also the example. I'm not reminded, but this is the thing. Also, there are some advanced operations on asynchronous execution on the locking methods, but yeah, this is mostly, I would say, related to the thread, so we will maybe not touch them now. And so yeah, so this is what we have on Thursday, and let's maybe have a quick look on the task, and then you can start doing it. Yeah, so first of all, what are the requirements here? There are two parts, the parts for the delegates and the parts for the events. So here we have the activity background. So let's read it. Consider a multi-tier application for loan processing. As we have the loans that has a business logic component containing processing rules. So the processing a tree determines the application's overall credit rating score. Okay, so this is for loans, just a technical thing. As usual, you need to create activity 9. Yeah, so you need to create a new class, and yeah, so you need to implement it, but you need to have the implement as you want. But first, you need to have the property credit score, property credit score, and yeah, type level to store the credit score. So you have the loan system, so which does the loan application processing. So and again, most of the implementations are free, but you should have the following methods. So first we should have process loan application. So that will take the delegate instance. Yeah, so this will be the action, and yeah, at the end it will create one applicant instance as the returning parameter. Yeah, so simply here we can use the main advantage of the delegates, then we can pass them to the methods as same as the variables, as the values. Okay. So, and then this will assign the credit score, and then it moves to delegate show applicant. Yeah. So, and then in the class program, so we need to create a simple static void show loan applicant to display the credit score of that applicant. A moment, I will quickly check. Yeah, so then you need to create the program. Yeah, and then you need to create method main and instantiate the class loan system and demonstrate how the loan application processing program works, yeah, by calling process loan application and providing the show as the callback method for this particular methods. Yeah. So yeah, this is the first part. This is the first part. Do you have any questions about it? Yeah, but I mean the questions may appear when you start working on it, so that would be fine. And yeah, then the second part is about the events. So in this case, you need to create a train station class, and so yeah, so then the event would be arrival. So basically, in this case, we describe what are the actions to happen when the train arrives to the train station. So in this case, yeah, of course, need to create a new project as usually. Create enumeration for arrival status, so that enum. Yeah, so you need to create enum. So enum is just a simple constants, so we can quickly create them. Enum by enum, and here I can have some constant values. So this and oh no, let's define them here. My enum say active. No, moment. Just I also will use enums. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course. Then yeah, so here I can add some statuses. Yeah, thank you very much. Statuses, active, cancelled, and so on. Or maybe done. So okay. So this is the way how you can use the enums. Yeah, so they're used as the constants. Yeah, so you can then access enum here, and you can access these constants. Yeah, so they have actually they're called enum because each constant is assigned to the number. Yeah, so this means that active will be O, cancelled will be 1, and done will be 2. Yeah, so this is the internal assignment the program can use to determine, basically to store the values for them. But you can use them as the constants, which will simply use make it easier to access these, to store these elements. Yeah, because again, usually the constants are more safe than if you just simply hard code the elements like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do it without the enums, you can assign like 0, 1, 2, but it's always better to use the constants, not 0, 1, 2, just because no one in the code will understand what do you mean by using, for example, 1. Yeah, so for example, if you say that the status is 1, how can I know that the status means cancelled without constants? Yeah, I can search for the mapping somewhere, but it takes the time, so it's more efficient to use the constant, to use enum instead of just hard code the numbers there. So yeah, this is the point. That's why you may need to create enums. So in this case, you can create enums, which gives the statuses for the arrival. After that, you need to create an event data class. Yes, so arrival event arguments, and it should have the following structure. Yes, you have a constructor, which assigns the number, status, and the time of arriving. then the train number, and yeah, the arrival. Then yeah, the train number would be the property. Also, the arrival status is the property, and the date time also the property of the arrival. Yeah, arrival information about the arrival. So, and then the next one would be that you create the class train station, which traces events. Implementations up to you how you define the events. So you can create the event argument there and assign the handlers to it. And so yeah, then you need to create public event handler, arriver, public event, yeah. So which will then implement this arrival. Then on arrival you can pass the arguments. So no, sorry, this method will, yeah, it will pass the event arrival event arguments, and it will raise the event arrival. And when the arrival is announcement, so this method will be called by the clients, and here you call methods on arrival, which will then pass a new instance to the method of the arrival event types, which will then call on arrival. Yes, so here you see this is protected method, so it means that it will not be available publicly, but so this is the public method, which then can be used by users. Then you create the test class train station with at least 2 separate event handlers, so you can subscribe the handlers there. And yeah, then you prepare a new object. Yeah, then you can create a separate program with the static void main to execute this the whole situation. Yeah. Okay, so do you have the questions about this? Okay, so you have this file right under the practical tasks. So you can, when you have the time, you can start working on it. So, and not sure if we maybe do need to stay here on the session where we can discuss all the points in chat, because I mean I'll still be here. Just not sure. Maybe I can. So maybe we can close the session now and just discuss any questions in chat. I mean, I will be available the whole day today and most likely tomorrow as well. So you can access me at any point. So for the deadlines for this, I'm not sure if we can. For this one, maybe let it be just until the last session we have. So that's the 20th of December. So this is the last session this year for us. Yeah, because you agree with me. Then if you want, you can work on this task until 20th. So, but yeah, I think for today, then we can continue in chat. I will be available anytime. You can write any questions. You can write questions publicly so everyone can see, just in case something is not clear for others. So all can know this. Yeah. Okay, so do you have any questions? No. Okay, then we can close this session for now. And in case you have any questions, then please reach me in chat, and we can discuss then all the points unclear. So take your time now, start working on the practical task, and then let's see how it goes for you. Okay, so then we close the session now, and then you continue with the practical task. Okay, so then thank you very much for your attention. Then here, and for those who won't have any questions, then see you on Monday. For those who will have any questions, then please reach me in chat. Okay. So yeah, then thank you everyone. See you on Monday.